Yuki Kawamura, the shortest player in NBA history, just shocked the entire league and proved that height is officially irrelevant in basketball. The Memphis Grizzlies must be feeling like they hit the jackpot because this 5'8" dynamo is changing the game one viral highlight at a time.
Yuki with the setup to Huff.
Was that touched by Washington? Referees aren't sure, so we'll call a jump ball. As you see, Yuki behind the back.
In just 5 minutes against the Washington Wizards, Yuki lit up the court, a step back, 3 through jaw-dropping passes, and had the crowd going wild. Now the whole internet is obsessed, and people are wondering how this performance will shape his future. With the Grizzlies, let's break down exactly what happened.
Hey guys, this is number 5 Yuki Kawamura from wnba sales. Make sure to watch me and my team play this week.
So our shortest NBA player Yuki Kawamura is out here, making professional giants look like they signed up for a beginner's basketball camp at just 5'8", and this guy isn't tiptoeing around the league's most monstrous athletes. He's running circles around them for years. Critics piled on the reasons why Kawamura would never make it too short, not strong long enough, wouldn't last a week in the NBA's brutal world of elbows and 7 FT juggernauts. But guess what? Yuki didn't just shut them up. He sent them packing with their jaws dragging on the floor, leaving behind a wake of viral highlights, flustered defenders and fans losing their minds. Now let's get to the night that flipped the entire narrative. November 8, 2024. The second he stepped onto the court, Washington's supposedly impenetrable defensive system crumbled like it was held together by wishful thinking and duct tape. Imagine a setup designed to protect the paint, block shots, and strike fear into opponents, only to have it obliterated by a 5'8" rookie who dribbled circles around defenders like he was starring in his own highlight reel. And let's be honest, helpless is a generous way to describe the Wizards' defenders. Kawamura had them tangled and twisted, looking like extras auditioning for a blooper reel. You could practically see the confusion on their faces, as if they were trying to figure out if Kawamura was real or some basketball trickster sent to ruin their night. Social media, of course, went wild, and it didn't take long for the memes to explode. Twitter and Instagram were flooded with clips of Washington's defense getting schooled, each one captioned with more savage roasts than the last. The Wizards became an instant joke, and they were trending for all the wrong reasons.
Step back 3. Yes, sir!
Yes! First NBA basket.
Nice rebound.
Get another one.
Yuki again!
Let's not forget the pure comedy of a 7-footer desperately trying to guard Kawamura. Just think of a guy towering over Kawamura by nearly a foot, lunging to contest his shot, only to realize he'd been played like a fool. Kawamura spun around him with so much finesse that the defender ended up reaching for thin air. The embarrassment was almost palpable, and the crowd didn't hold back, bursting into laughter. Even the commentators had to suppress chuckles as they watched Kawamura outclass someone who should have had every physical advantage, but no amount of height saved the Wizards from humiliation that night.
As you see, Yuki behind the back, Huff cuts, Huff.
Washington's so-called defensive presence, Kawamura, turned it into a joke. His speed and court vision were on another level, and he sliced through their defense like it wasn't even there. The Wizards were supposed to have the upper hand with towering big men guarding the paint and forwards who could block out the sun with their wingspans. But none of it mattered. Kawamura exposed their weaknesses with a mix of pinpoint passes, lightning-fast movements, and a level of skill that left everyone stunned. Her made their defense look like a bad prank gone wrong.
Yes! First NBA basket.
Nice rebound.
And this wasn't someone off miracle. Kawamura is the real deal, defying every stereotype about height in the NBA. Think about it, only 2 other players under 5'9" and have stepped foot on an NBA course in the past 20 years. It's practically unheard of, yet here's Kawamura making NB a veterans look silly and proving that heart and hustle beat height any day. His presence alone sends a message that you don't need to be a physical specimen to dominate the game. He's setting a new standard, one that shows just how far pure determination and relentless effort can take you. The thing about Kawamura, he works like he has something to prove, and he does. Every critic who ever said he was too small just fueled his fire. He's the first to show up and the last to leave, grinding harder than anyone else. He practices like a man possessed, rain or shine, never taking a second for granted. And all that work pays off when he's on the court, making seasoned NBA defenders look like they're moving in slow motion. His changeup pace, his ability to anticipate plays, and his razor-sharp basketball IQ. It's like he's playing in the future, while everyone else is stuck in the past. Yuki Kawamura's journey from Japan's B League to the NBA feels almost too wild to be true, like some underdog script Hollywood wishes it had come up with back in Japan. This guy wasn't just a standout, he was a one-man wrecking crew. We're talking MVP and Rookie of the Year in the same season. He averaged 20 points and 7 assists per game, making defenders look like they'd signed up for an advanced course in humiliation. The B League wasn't just a place where he played, it was a personal playground where Kawamura schooled everyone and made sure his name echoed in basketball circles. Far and wide, opponents who underestimated him learned their lesson quickly, usually in the most embarrassing way possible. But even with those absurd stats, people still doubted him. Scouts were skeptical, almost laughably. So they'd look at his 5'8" in frame and get nervous, because in the NBA height is king, and Kawamura was showing up to a game full of giants. The concerns rolled in like a never-ending wave. Could he handle the physicality? Would he get swallowed up by the speed and size of the NBA? Was he even cut out for this level of competition? Or was he just another feel-good story, waiting to get crushed under the weight of reality? Those doubts weren't quiet whispers either, they were loud and relentless, echoing through every scouting report and pre-draft analysis. But Yuki Kawamura didn't just silence those doubts, he obliterated them. One mind-blowing performance at a time. At NBA workouts, he went from being the little guy nobody was sure about to the can't-miss prospect everyone was suddenly talking about. It wasn't about barely surviving against taller, stronger opponents. It was about dominating them. He walked onto those courts facing off against players who looked like they'd been sculpted from marble, and made it very clear that his size was irrelevant. Kawamura cut through defenses with speed and precision that left jaws on the floor, and scouts who had been shaking their heads were suddenly nodding in admiration. He didn't just fit in, he stood out, and his impact goes way beyond basketball courts. In Japan, Kawamura is a full-blown legend. He's transcended the game, becoming a cultural icon who has the entire nation in his corner. People don't just watch his games, they pack stadiums, huddle around screens, and celebrate every move he makes. He's got a fan base that stretches from Tokyo to Los Angeles. And kids around the world, especially the ones told they're too small or not strong enough, see him as proof that grit beats genetics. He's more than just a basketball player. He's a symbol of what happens when heart and hustle take center stage. And then came the Tokyo Olympics, the moment that catapulted him from a national hero to a global sensation. If you thought his B League dominance was impressive, his Olympic performance was next-level stuff against France, a team loaded with caliber talent. Kawamura didn't just hold his own, he erupted for 29 points, grabbed 7 rebounds, and dished out 6 assists. It was a masterclass that didn't just make headlines, it rewrote them. The kind of performance that forced analysts to rethink what they thought was possible for a player his size. His numbers were so ridiculous that he joined a very exclusive club alongside Kevin Durant and Eliel Dung, the only 3 players to ever put up a 2,555 game at the Olympic Ipsies. That's not just good company, that's basketball royalty. But let's be real, it wasn't just about stats. Kawamura's Olympic run sparked something massive, a wave of global recognition that put the whole world on notice. Suddenly, this 5'8" wizard from Japan had everyone talking, from casual fans to NBA executives. People were tuning in just to how this guy was breaking all the rules, defying every expectation. His Olympic heroics became the ultimate resume, the performance that launched him into serious NBA conversations. Could he bring that magic to the big stage night after night? The anticipation was real, and everyone wanted to see if he could pull it off. For Kawamura, the Olympics weren't just about representing his country. They were about making a statement. He wasn't there to be the token underdog or a feel-good story for commentators to gush over. He was there to dominate, and he did so with a swagger that left no doubt he belonged to the skeptics who once dismissed him as a novelty act had to sit back and watch as he dismantled teams, making it look way too easy. Kawamura didn't just change minds, he obliterated expectations and cemented his place in basketball history. The world saw it, respected it, and the legend of Yuki Kawamura only grew from there.